Most likely, if you're in a sales role and if you're performing cold outreach, you might be viewing yourself more as a taker. And that's because most salespeople, when they're performing cold outreach, they use what I would refer to as a product-focused sales message, which goes something like this. Hey, this is who I am. This is the company I'm with. This is what we sell. Do you need what we sell? Are you interested in what we sell? Can I schedule a meeting with you to talk about what I sell? And you might look at that and think, come on now, most salespeople are not that direct and don't communicate that poorly. But I actually get about 50 to 100 cold emails and cold calls a day. And I would say just about all of those salespeople follow that general outline in terms of what they say. This is who I am, the company I'm with. This is what we sell. Do you need what I sell? Are you interested in what I sell? Can we meet to talk about what I sell? And there's many problems with this approach, but one big problem with this approach is that it's all about me. I'm calling to talk to you about my company, my product, and I'm trying to sell to you, which aligns with my core interest of selling my product, making money, and hitting my sales targets. And not only does that type of approach greatly increase the amount of objections and rejection and resistance you face, but that type of approach will also put you in more of a taker mindset. You're reaching out to prospects to try to take their time so that you can ultimately take their money by getting them to buy the product that you sell. And when you have more of a taker mindset, that can greatly put you in a not so great mindset when it's time to perform cold outreach, because you can feel like, oh, geez, this person isn't going to want to talk to me. I'm going to bother this person. And you are more likely to bother that person because you're reaching out to them in an all about me approach, wanting to talk about your product and wanting to take their time. You are being more of a taker. But the reality is that in many ways, you are not a taker. You are a helper. Your product or service helps in some way or another. If it did not, the company you work for or the company you own would not be in business. Your product helps in some sort of way. You have value to offer. You help the people who need the product or service you sell. There are people out there that need your help. And by beginning to have more clarity on that and being aware of this and viewing yourself as more of a helper than a taker, not only can you improve your mindset and improve your level of confidence when you're performing cold outreach, but you ultimately will probably improve how you communicate, and that will help you to sell more and build better relationships with the prospects you're trying to sell to. Let me show you an example of how this works or could work for you. If we look at an example of a salesperson who sells gym memberships, we talked about this on a previous Mindset Monday, but in most scenarios, this salesperson might use a product-focused sales message and sales approach, and that might look something like him going out and talking to prospects primarily about the product he sells by saying something like, hey, I'm with Fitness Plus, and we have this great facility. It has all these equipments and amenities, and we have all these different programs. That is a product selling approach, me talking about my product and seeing if you're interested in my product. And as we've talked about many times, not only are there many problems with that approach, but it's a very all about me approach. My product, my company, can I get you to buy my product? And if this gym membership salesperson uses that approach, he or she might feel like a taker when they're reaching out to talk to someone about their product. They're trying to interrupt what they're doing and talk to them about their product. But the reality is that this salesperson is also a helper or could position themselves to be more of a helper than a taker. And that's because this salesperson has a tremendous amount of value to offer. As we discussed in a previous video, this salesperson helps people in tremendous ways, improving their health and fitness, decreasing their stress, improving their confidence, improving their relationships. These are tremendous improvements, and these improvements help people in tremendous ways. And there are a lot of people out there that need this help. And many of those people are not currently shopping for and looking for a gym membership. They are looking for help in these areas, or they know that they want improvement in these areas. And this salesperson can help all of those people. Those people need this salesperson's help. This salesperson can play the role as a helper to these people. And so your product or service helps people or businesses in a similar way. And that means that there are people out there that need your help. Yes, when you're performing cold outreach, you might face a lot of objections like, I'm not interested, we don't need that right now. And you could start to think, man, maybe people do not need what I sell. But there are people out there that need your help, and you are a helper to those people. And when you can stop and realize this or remind yourself of this, you can start to view yourself as a helper. You can shift from feeling like you are a taker every day when you're performing cold outreach to stop and view yourself more as a helper. And not only will this improve your mindset and give you more confidence and help you to feel more purpose when it's time to perform cold outreach in terms of picking up the phone and calling a cold prospect or sending another follow-up email to a prospect who hasn't responded to you, but you're more likely to communicate better when you talk with prospects over the phone or when you're delivering a demonstration or a presentation. Because when you have this awareness and you view yourself as a helper, you might talk more about the ways you help the prospects that need your help, or the way you help customers that are currently using your products or services. And one actual thing you can do is to stop and look at the improvements your product or service delivers. You might do this on Monday morning or every morning when you start your day, or maybe you look at your improvements before calls. But in order to view yourself as a helper, you need to have clarity around how your product helps the people who need your help. And it is the list of improvements or benefits your product delivers that clearly outlines how you are a helper. So if you look at that list periodically, you will have more clarity and awareness of how you are a helper. And if you don't know how your product helps, we have a step-by-step sales message brainstorming process that we explain in one of our videos. If you go to our YouTube channel, go to the Smart Sales System playlist. This is our training program, and this training program will actually take you through a step-by-step process to identify how your product or service helps. And this is that 6-step sales message brainstorming process. And when you go through this process will actually help you to identify the benefits you offer, the pain points you help to solve. And it's those details that paint the picture of how you help. Each step of that process actually creates what we refer to as building blocks, and you can actually use those building blocks to create your cold call script or your appointment script or your email messages, voicemail messages, objection responses, and more. And having these building blocks and having your sales message mapped out, again, it'll not only help you to view yourself more as a helper and improve your mindset, but it will help you to communicate better and explain to prospects, whether that's over the phone or in email or in presentations, how you help, and that will help you to not only build interest and generate leads, but qualify prospects to identify if the prospect needs the help you have to offer. And our software of Sales Scripter actually aligns with that sales message brainstorming process and actually provides you with AI tools to help you create your sales message in a matter of seconds. All you have to do is enter the product or service you sell, and the software integrates with ChatGPT to do all of the sales copywriting to create the list of benefits and pain points your product or service helps with. And so in a matter of seconds, you can use Sales Scripter and ChatGPT to create your sales message. And this will help you to not only create your sales script, but to have clarity around how exactly it is that you are a helper and how you help the people that need your help. And you can use this tool to not only improve your mindset, but improve how you're communicating. So if you think that these tips are helpful, you may want to follow us on any of these social platforms. We post tips like this every day on our social media. I'll put links in the description below for all of these if you want to follow us. And if you find this helpful, I've recently created a community on Reddit for sales scripts. So if you're someone who likes to work on how you're communicating and optimize your sales communications and your sales messaging, join us on Reddit as a place to ask questions. And if you want to support us, a real easy way to do that is to like, comment, share any of our videos, subscribe to our channel. Any of those help us, and none of those cost you anything. And that is pretty much it. If you have questions or you want more information, the best place to go is salescriptor.com. Thanks for being here, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.